Quick message to everybody on active duty right now in the military. Those 6 Democrats that are urging you over and over again to disobey the lawful orders of the President of the United States, not even a month ago, voted repeatedly, over and over again, over the course of almost 2 months, to keep you from getting paid, to keep food out of your family's mouths, because they saw you as leverage, not people. They do not care about you. Do you understand?
Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So as you can see, we're still talking about the whole, I guess, seditious 6 is what they're being called. Because, you know, why not, right? Because they're boohooing and whining about this whole thing, about what's going on with them and with what Trump had posted. So of course we're going to be talking about them still, because they have nothing better to do than create problems that don't exist. So we have this from Fox News, the 5 new hoax alert. So let's go ahead and jump right into the video.
Consequences could be coming for those reckless Senate Democrats who posted a video urging our American military to defy, quote, illegal orders, even though they couldn't name a single one. The Pentagon now is probing serious allegations of misconduct into Democratic Senator Mark Kelly, with Secretary of War Pete Hegseth saying he's considering recalling Kelly to active duty for possible court-martial, noting that Kelly's conduct, quote, brings discredit upon the armed forces and will be addressed appropriately. And then there's Michigan Senator Elissa Slotkin. She was completely unable to explain what illegal orders President Trump had.
And see, what they're doing is they're trying to plant those seeds. Because remember, everything Trump does, according to the Democrats, is illegal. And Trump has to keep jumping through all these hoops to prove that everything he's doing is lawful. So he's constantly having, every time these people block them with their stupid judges who are trying to stop Trump and his administration from doing what he's allowed to do. And no matter how many times the Supreme Court said, yes, he's allowed to do this, these people in the Democratic Party, these, judges that are also Dems, they're playing these semantic games and word games, and they're trying to dub everything he's doing illegal. And so he has to go back. He has to go file an appeal. It's got to go right back up to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has to slam it down again and say, we already told you guys, he's allowed to do this. So these guys are trying to play the semantic game. They're trying to say that what Trump is doing is illegal because they're trying to plant those little seeds so that they could start dividing the military, where you're going to have an outright civil war, and this is not going to vote well for anybody. The Democrats don't care. They're on the losing end, and they're scrambling for power, and they want to stay in power. So they're going to play every dirty game in the book to get it. They don't care who they're hurting. And that sucks for everybody else who actually sees it. And hopefully other people start waking up and realize that these Democrats need to be all booted out of office. They are all pieces of ish. But let's keep going.
Supposedly issued. Watch this.
Do you believe President Trump has issued any illegal orders?
To my knowledge, I am not aware of things that are illegal.
Couldn't you have done a video saying just what you just said if you are asked to do something?
I think for us, it was just a statement widely, right? We say very quickly and to all the folks who come to us, this is the process. Go to your JAG officer, ask them for explanation, for top cover, for their view on things. If you going back to Nuremberg, right, that, well, they told me to do it, that's why I murdered people, is not an excuse. If you look at popular culture, there's you watch, A Few Good Men, we have plenty of examples since World War II.
Jesse, I sort of wanted her to keep talking. I mean, what foolishness. This is a woman who won a year ago by 0.3 of a percentage point in Michigan, by 19,000 votes out of 5 million cast. And she speaks like this: I want the people of Michigan, Arizona to know their senators are interested in sound bites and social media screeds rather than facts and figures.
So I talked to 2 CIA officers who said that this is a part of a larger hoax, and what they're doing here is they're trying to condition the country to prepare for something bad that's about to happen at the hands of Donald Trump. It's straight out of the CIA playbook. It's a destabilization operation where you get people to mistrust each other. And you do this because she's an analyst. And as an analyst, she would make sure what propaganda operations were successful, which ones weren't. So she knows what works. So the first part of the video, you establish authority. I'm CIA, I'm military, you need to trust us. Second part of the video, they introduce the threat. And the threat's not foreign, the threat's domestic, the threat's Donald Trump. And then at the end, they introduce the solution. What's the solution? You resist, you say no. But they don't give an option. They say this is an obligation for you to do. Now, she is being run because she didn't come up with this herself. She's a Brennan acolyte, and you usually don't have congressmen and senators doing anything together. They kind of hate each other. So in order to organize this had to have had some sort of handler telling her what to do. And it was risky because nothing like this has ever been done in the history of the country. And you can even tell because the media was skeptical and they couldn't answer the question. So they hadn't even been read in on the operation. You see them fumbling and stumbling. And I'm glad that the U.S. military is now investigating this guy, Kelly, because this is what we expect from Donald Trump 2.0. You can't have the deep state interfering with a duly elected presidency and get away with it. You got to draw the line in the sand, and you have to make examples out of people.
Kennedy, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth today did say that they're going to investigate Mark Kelly. He retired as a captain. He was then he was an astronaut. He's an identical twin brother who's an astronaut. But there are special
twins experiment. Einstein.
The twins. There you go. Scott Kelly. There are special rules that you must follow if you're a former military. You're always military if you're retired military. And Hegseth and Department of War are looking into that and saying this guy, who doesn't do much in the United States Senate, may actually have to go back to active duty. Where do you think that's headed?
Yes, I think that Senator Kelly might have violated the FAFO doctrine, and he's going to find out the hard way that there unfortunately are consequences because, you know, these people aren't civilians. They have sworn an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution, and they know what that means. They know what that means a lot better than we civilians do, but they make a video like this trying to make a plea to people in the armed forces. And what they're really trying to do is imply that things that you might disagree with are also illegal, although there's actually quite a big gulf there. And there may be things about bombing boats in the Caribbean that I have an issue with. I may have an issue with that morally and philosophically, but I have not sworn an oath to the Constitution. So I'm not on the same ground that the warrior.
Which, if you look at the rule of law regarding sedition, it actually states that if you're a civilian, that's where the 20 years comes into play. And if you're military, which means you're not a civilian, yes, you can have like a court, like the kind of like the Few Good Men, you would have that court set up through the military, but the penalty can be death. So as a civilian, you wouldn't have that, but as military, you would. So the fact that these people who are ex-military or current military or, you know, veterans or veterans that are taking a paycheck, which means that they can go to active duty, they know better, but they just don't care. Because what does the Democrats want to do? If they can't regain power, they want to burn the whole thing down. It's kind of like what they said in this clip.
Some men aren't looking for anything logical, like money. They can't be bought, bullied, reasoned, or negotiated with. Some men just want to watch the world burn.
So that's how I feel the Democrats are. They just want to see it just go, you know, because they don't care. They're like, you know what? I'm going to lose anyways. Might as well take everything out with me. But that's how they are. But let's keep going.
And the people in harm's way they know what they're getting into, but what these people are trying to do, they're trying to confuse them. And everyone I've spoken to in the military who is serving or who has served, they are so disgusted by this whole thing because, to Jesse's point, they see it all as a giant manipulation that it doesn't elevate the conversation. It doesn't make us safer. It doesn't make things better. And the destabilization may have catastrophic consequences for unstable people who are serving, who feel now that it's perfectly okay to violate the chain of command. That can have dire and fatal consequences.
So as you see from this, watch. So I have these clips from X. This is from Dr. Interracial. He says, don't sacrifice your military record and dignity for lunatic Democrats. So let's go ahead and watch this.
My name is Sergeant First Class Retired Army Billy Ray Todd. And this message for the current service members that serve in this graceful nation of ours. Recently, we had a bunch of Democrat lunatics going to tell you to defy orders from higher command. And I'm going to tell you what you're going to lose. Number one, you're going to lose self-respect. You're going to be a dishonorable discharge. You're going to have a DDT-14 that's going to be not good to have. And you're going to lose all your military benefits. You're going to lose benefits to take care of your family, everything, retirement. You'll lose it all because they want you to sacrifice yourself and your goals for their political agenda. Those Democrat lunatics, politicians don't care about you. They do not care about you. They want to destroy the military within. And they should be not serving in public office. We need to have people that serve public office, just like you serving in the United States military, to honor American values and strength. So do not listen to those lunatics, those Democrat lunatics out there who hate this nation. Thank you.
So you see that video. Now we also have this other video that I want to show you guys. So I have this other video for you guys. This one's from Julian Betsy. I 100% agree with this true veteran and what he heard those 6 scum Democrats say about military ignoring orders. They are members of Congress and veterans. To make these strenuous remarks should at the very least be kicked out of Congress. The veteran is right on point. So let's go ahead and watch his video.
Straight up, my fellow Americans, what they are doing is dangerous as shit. I will tell you right now, and I am sure that all of my fellow veterans can attest to this, we all in basic training, OCS, all the other shit, sat through mind-numbing briefings on lawful and unlawful, constitutional, unconstitutional, while sniffing hand sanitizer, trying not to get smoked. So to believe that you as a veteran and a sitting United States senator have the right to speak to the masses and undermine the command of every general officer in the ranks because you just told every Private Joe Snuffy that if they don't feel like it's a lawful order, that it is their duty. It is upon them to do something about it. No, you little shitheads, it's not. I promise that long before it gets down to you in the Joe Snuffy masses world, it's going to be hashed out in the lawful world way up here. So, I truly believe that they should be expelled from Congress. This kind of message to, look, while everybody in uniform may sign on that dotted line, that does not mean that all people and experiences are the same, that there are not people within the ranks that do not like the experience that they are having, that they wish they were not in the situation that they were in, that they feel as if the commander-in-chief that is currently sitting in the Oval Office is a threat to them, their people, whatever. It's not like mental illness gets filtered out. You can pass the PT test and the ASVAB and all that shit, and then if you got something else, like, that shit's got to come out in the wash. So to put out a message like this, no. If they're your senator, you should be on the horn day in and day out until they are no longer sitting in that seat. Absolutely ludicrous. What do you think? Am I not right about this? Putting a message out to the masses to Joe Snuffy to imply that they should be some sort of vigilante is literally the exact opposite of everything that we are taught day one. Somebody's making that decision above your pay grade. It's not yours to make. We ain't in those kind of situations. You know what you know. Just the blessed.
So yeah, so this is what he was saying. So let's go back to the video. Oh wait, I have one more. Sorry guys. So this one is from combat veteran and former military aide to POTUS. Clinton says the action of the 6 Democrats who told our military to disobey orders was seditious and treasonous. He wants them prosecuted, and so do we. So this is from Buzz Patterson, a career Air Force veteran, combat pilot, and former Air Force military aide to the president of Bill Clinton. My personal statement about Democrats and the Sedition 6. So now we have this one. And
President Trump is, however, is our commander.
And we'll get right back to the video. I just want to show you guys there's a lot of veterans that... So sorry for the background noise. You guys know I live in a cold area, so my ducks can't be outside because it's too cold for them. So we're going to go ahead and put them in the tub. But yeah, so we have a bunch of veterans that are coming out, and I wanted you guys to see that not all of them think the way the Democrats do. And there are a lot of veterans that are stepping up against this because they don't agree with what these 6 Democrats stated. So we'll go ahead and jump into the video.
Hey everybody, this is Buzz Patterson. I'm a retired Air Force Lieutenant Colonel, retired Air Force pilot, combat veteran, and at one time I was the military aide to President Bill Clinton and carried the nuclear football and actually lived in the White House. So I've been around. Actually, during my military service, deployed to 70 countries and fought in 3 wars. So I feel like I've got a dog in this hunt. I am very appalled at what the Sedition 6 has done with their video. I think it's a violation of their oaths of office, and especially in the case of Senator Mark Kelly, I believe it's a violation of the UCMJ, and I hope that President Trump and Secretary of War Pete Hegseth hold them accountable. They are violating, and they are politically using their positions to undercut the command of President Donald J. Trump, and they're circumventing the chain of command. Congress and members of Senate are not in the chain of command. President Trump is, however, as our commander-in-chief. So I fully support going forward with whatever prosecutions are warranted and legitimate, and I think they are on these individuals. They use their positions, military and in the intelligence community, to expose, I think, and put at risk those of us who serve in uniform. I think that what's going to happen is because they violated the military chain of command, people are going to die. They undercut the underpinnings of the military, which is good order and faith and trust in their leadership. And in my estimation, what they did was treasonous and seditionist, and I hope they are prosecuted to the full extent. Again, my name is Buzz Patterson. I served in combat. I've served for 20 years, and I am outraged by what has happened by the Democrats, and I fear for what's going to happen to our young soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines if they choose to violate what is a legal order, which will ruin their lives and ruin their careers. Thank God, guys. God bless. See ya.
So yeah, so you guys seen these clips. So let's go ahead and jump right back into the video.
Jessica, don't you wish you can roll the tape and delete this? This is not the finest moment. And in fact, if you are saying the commander-in-chief is giving illegal orders and he's not, that itself is illegal because you're telling people to not comply with laws that Hegseth today said are presumed to be lawful.
There's nothing in the video that says, I want you to defy lawful orders. It's reminding people that in the Uniform Code of Military Justice, you have a sworn duty to not comply with unlawful orders.
And what would those be?
Senator Slotkin gave an interview to TMZ where she did talk about what could potentially fall into those categories. As Kennedy said, bombing boats in the Caribbean when you don't know who's actually in those boats. And we don't know why General Halsey, who was the head of the Southern Command, actually resigned from that post. We'll eventually find out what that is. They go back to 2020 when Donald Trump said shoot protesters in the legs, and Mark Esper said we're absolutely not doing things like that. Concerned that people who are serving right now have come to tell these veteran representatives that they feel like sending troops into American cities and possibly being pitted against American citizens are things that could fall into these categories. And Jesse said, you know, they're doing this to sow discord and distrust amongst American citizens. Now, I think what's really sowing distrust and discord amongst American citizens is the fact that the America First movement online is a bunch of bot farms, and it's coming from Nigeria, and it's coming from Russia and Iran, but no one seems to really care about that. They want to talk about these veterans. And Pete Hegseth is proving...
What famous person on the right is from overseas?
I'm not sure. Not Benny Johnson, MAGA cult slayer.
Who?
Look at
MAGA cult slayer?
Wait, is he related to Todd Starnes?
Listen,
never even heard of him.
Pete Hegseth is proving these Democrats' point with this idea of bringing Mark Kelly in and then possibly leading to a court-martial. Because if that's what they're going to do to a sitting senator, then think about what a junior officer who's concerned about the orders that he's getting is going to face if he does go to his JAG officer. And these representatives have said that they are hearing from folks on the ground that they are concerned about the direction that we're going in.
And this is so wait a second.
The former CIA officer is telling you what she's hearing?
Too many ifs.
Remember when AOC was letting undocumented people know their rights? And she said, here's a list of things that you are entitled to by being here, even if you are in this country illegally. And they said that the AOC was committing a crime, that she was trying to tell people to do illegal things and evade ICE when she was just telling you what your rights are. And these Democrats are doing the same thing. They're saying this is what your constitutional oath means.
Greg, a lot of ifs here.
Yeah, okay. I just have to remind everybody that they've lost all credibility. This is the same machinery that denied Hunter's laptop and claimed that that Joe Biden was fit for duty. So we have no obligation to believe that they are hearing from folks on the ground. A CIA analyst, are you serious? Look, this was another unnecessary solution to an imaginary problem. It's much like finding a 7-year-old who is confused and saying, you know what you have? You're born in the wrong body. We need to chop off your junk. They always create an unnecessary solution to an imaginary problem. The Dems pretty much admit that, okay? Number one, once they got called on it, as Jessica says, it was a video that was just pronouncing things that were obvious to everybody. So obvious, in fact, that it's in the manual. So why did you do it? And then why, when you did it, you didn't have any evidence to back it up other than hearsay, this and that. I've heard from people. So the point of creating an imaginary problem is so that you imagine the problem in your head. Troops torching small villages like they see in movies, when in fact the only people torching villages in the United States are leftists. It is especially pathetic and hilarious that Slotnick could only bring up a movie. As good as it gets, A Few Good Men, wrong Nicholson film, A Few Good Men, to provide evidence for this, to make a shocking national pronouncement. Okay, can I say this? Over the weekend, I watched Alien. It's a classic movie, and I just want to point out that if you have any stomach pain, it might not be indigestion. It could be a giant, monstrous alien creature living inside your bowels, because that makes about as much sense as her citing a movie loosely based on a hazing incident in Gitmo. Now, you give them too much credit for this psy-op. They're not that smart. I think they were just trying to tweak Trump, and for better or for worse, they pretty much achieved it. To me, they're like Antifa burning an American flag, hoping that these patriotic counter-protesters attack so they can press charges. This was all about getting something. But that even when I say that, I think that's giving them too much credit. They just might be ass wipes.
It's organized, though, because senators and congressmen don't talk to each other. And these are the only, no, they don't. And they're the only people who really served in these intelligence-laden fields. Delta Force, CIA, Navy, come on. This was organized.
So yeah, so this is what's going on and what people are believing is happening. So I think personally, like I told you guys, that I think this has to do with them sowing those seeds. because time and time again, they're trying to push this agenda because they want a civil war. First, they wanted a race war. Now they want a civil war. We also have other things on our doorstep, like the stuff that's going on with the Muslims, where it might be like, some people are calling it a holy war, where you're going to have Christians pitted against Muslims. So we're on a lot of fronts right now of craziness that's going on. Then we have the whole thing with Antifa against ICE and Antifa against this and that and what have you. Like, they need to pick a spot, you know? But apparently they're against everything. And even their propaganda is getting out of control. But this is just another kind of drop in the bucket, you know? But you guys let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you guys are any military members that are part of my subscribers, let me know your thoughts. What did you think of the video when you had those 6 Democrats say what they said? I have family members that are from the military, and I know like a lot of them didn't agree with it either, with what those 6 people did. So from my understanding, a lot of them don't agree with it. So you guys let me know your thoughts. I want to thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Till next time, guys.